I have decided to take off the central in my name and add a "the" to the beginning. Call it the Left Central Report and make it a show or a series on my channel. So there's that originality. Over 9,000 right now, so that's always great.
Lesson from the brain, seeing the beauty through the.
What's up, YouTube? Welcome to the Left Turn Report. We are here at my house. It's not like we have a huge studio. We got good old Barbara Palvin right there, Boston Celtics banner in the background. But hey, it's the Left Turn Report, and if you guys are wondering what it is basically what I did last year. We'll recap races. We'll talk about news going on in the sport. I'd like to have 1 to 2 episodes per week, so there's that. And yeah, the Left Turn Report. Like I said in the intro, it's a very original name. If you guys do enjoy, make sure you like, hit the subscribe button. Thank you guys for 100 subscribers. I think I've said that in like 3 videos now, but thank you for 100 subscribers. And I'm still working on my 100 subscribers video or challenge or whatever I want to do. So if you guys have not come up with the idea quite yet, I mean, I have ideas, but I haven't made a decision yet. So if you guys want your opinion to be heard, put it down below, and we can see what you guys want me to do for 100 subscribers. Without further ado, let's get into today's news. We have a lot of sponsorship stuff to cover today. First, we have Sport Clips Haircuts. It was announced that they will be renewing their contract with Joe Gibbs, and actually not just sponsoring Eric Jones and Denny Hamlin, they will also be sponsoring Kyle Busch and MTJ for select races. So always nice to see a sponsor. Sport Clips has been around for quite a while now. That's where I get my haircuts. I have not gotten a haircut in over a month now, and it's looking terrible. That's why I wear the hat. But yeah, so Sport Clips is signed on for another season, or I don't know if it's a multi-year deal. It didn't necessarily specify, but yeah, so Sports Clips staying with them and actually expanding. Always nice to see a sponsor expanding their partnership, no matter, even if it's with Joe Gibbs, who literally has a plethora of sponsors. I did find it interesting though that Kyle Busch, I can't remember the last time he wasn't sponsored by Mars Bars. I think it's like called Mars Incorporated, but I cannot remember the last time he was not sponsored by them. Could they have maybe taken a race out? I don't know. No, I'm just kidding. I think there have been like a couple races here and there. But yeah, that's really all I got for the Sports Clip sponsorship. And our next, oh my god, that's making me angry. There, we fixed it. Our next another sponsor here, Loves, has been here for almost a decade, it seems like. They have renewed their partnership with Front Row Motorsports. Always nice to see these small teams keep on getting commitment from sponsors. And I always find it weird how JTG and Front Row really have the largest assortment of kind of name brand sponsors. I mean, JTG has Kroger's. I believe they have the Cheetos, or they did not have Cheetos. I'm thinking of Cheez-Its with Furniture Row, but you know, and here we got Loves and Brisk. I didn't realize Brisk was on that car. So the kind of these mid-tier teams are, I mean, they're getting some pretty big sponsors. I mean, if you don't know Loves, I know Loves, so I guess that means everybody has to know Loves. But like I said, always nice to see sponsorship, like I said, with the Sports Clips. I'm assuming they are sponsoring the 34 team and probably not so much the 36. Is that what John Hunter Nemechek's, whatever John Hunter Nemechek's running? Also, side note, John Hunter Nemechek's sponsor, shoot, now I can't think of it. His sponsor from the Fast Fire Safety, whatever, they are also making the jump to the Cup Series with him. So yeah, there's that. I don't know how good he's going to do this season. Same with Michael McDowell, but they have sponsorship. At least they don't have to worry about that. This is what I found very interesting, that Coca-Cola is now sponsoring the iRacing series. I mean, I'm sure it's not like as, you know, financially tasking as, you know, sponsoring the Cup Series, but I find it interesting that Coca-Cola seems to be, you know, a very I mean, obviously they're a very large company that seems to really be putting money into NASCAR and seems to be sponsoring a lot. I mean, they sponsor Daniel Suarez. They have their whole Coca-Cola racing family. I believe It consists of used to consist of Stewart. I think Newman's on there. Patrick used to be on there. Danica. I feel like Ricky Stenhouse is on there. So they put a lot of money into this sport, and they just seem to be putting more and more. And you love to see it, especially from a big name company. They obviously have to see something in NASCAR in order to be putting so much money in them, money into the sport. So always great to see. And it kind of shocked me seeing that, you know, the iRacing series is kind of starting to be looked at as a fourth series to these sponsors and NASCAR, and so it's really cool to see. I mean, obviously, is a K&N driver more talented than an iRacing driver? Probably, but that doesn't necessarily have to be the truth. So I want to also touch on the Hall of Fame. We finally passed on from the sponsorship stuff, and now we're getting some more serious stuff. In the Hall of Fame, they have changed from 3 ballots, I believe. One's like a pioneer ballot, and then the other one is 2 current ballots, which would be like not current, but you know what I mean. So there's now 3 instead of 5 people getting into the Hall of Fame each year, which basically just means they were running out of people. They really were. I mean, next thing you know, you're going to have Gray Galding. I got that from the NASCAR Weekly podcast, making the Hall of Fame, and he maybe gets 1 win somehow, some way in the Xfinity series, and he gets in. Like, that's obviously wouldn't happen, but you're just going to start getting random people that don't deserve to be in the Hall of Fame, which is a problem that the NBA kind of has, but also I feel like the NBA has a lot more Hall of Fame caliber players. But anyways, that has happened, and that just means it's going to be a lot harder. It's going to be actually the best of the best drivers making it to the Hall of Fame. So it's always great to see, making our Hall of Fame more particular, or I don't know. You guys know what I'm saying, but yeah, that's always good, because you know, if you look at the Hall of Fame, really all it takes, it seems like 10 wins to get in, and I mean, that might be an exaggeration, but probably should be a little bit more stingier on letting people into the Hall of Fame. But interested to see, you know, will we start seeing more Hall of Fame snubs? Because usually we aren't used to having Hall of Fame snubs because so many people get in. But now we might be seeing some people like the greatest drivers never to make the Hall of Fame, because we can't really make a list of that, because pretty much everybody gets into the Hall of Fame that deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. Now there might be a couple people that don't deserve to be in the, or do deserve to be in the Hall of Fame, that might never get in. So that's going to be interesting. Kind of adds a little more spice to the Hall of Fame, you know, a little more urgency to get in there when you can. So there is that. And the last thing I want to touch on here is the stage race announcement. It was made about a week ago, but I still want to talk about it because I want my opinion to be, you know, heard and, you know, felt. And I disagree with the route they're going with the stage racing. Now, at the beginning, you know, I was skeptical when they first brought it in, but I've actually come to love and think it's actually better than the usual NASCAR format. And especially with the addition of playoff points and stuff like that, I think it's really the best system that we could have. I know nobody agrees with me, but that's just my thoughts. And anyways, but this is not it. Not making these stages, you know, manipulating them from the way they were is not it. We're just now starting to get, you know, used to the idea of stage racing, and some people maybe even warming up to it, and you decide to throw this shit at us. And it's annoying and frustrating. Their reasoning for, you know, making this change of the stages is the complete opposite direction of where NASCAR fans want them to go. It's because they are trying to take strategy out of the sport, which makes no sense, because it is a race within the race. Like, you can't, like, you don't see this really in any other sport, and they're trying to get rid of it. It's annoying. And you know, I know they're trying to make it to where you have insane finishes, you know, competition flying out of their ass and stuff like that. But in vision of that, they are taking away one of the staples that NASCAR has, and that is pit strategy, and having to, you know, pit crews having to be perfect, drivers having to be perfect on pit road and can't make a mistake. They're trying to get rid of that, and they're trying to sacrifice that for on track which technically is on track, but you know what I'm saying. On track competition and just crazy finishes. And yes, that's great. I want to see that, but there is no problem with a strategy race. And I don't understand why NASCAR is trying to get rid of that. I know, fans of younger generations have shorter attention spans and stuff like that. That was probably the main reason they put in stage racing. But there's got to be a line here, because at this point, just add in a fourth stage. And don't do that. I was really just kidding. And, it frustrates me that their reasoning is it feels like they were finally, maybe kind of getting what NASCAR fans want, making some right moves, and then they pulled this shit, and it's just shows that NASCAR is not necessarily on the page with its fans. It's not in the loop. They seem to be with most of the decisions they're making, but then they just pull this bullshit, and it really is frustrating to know that, yeah, they make all those great decisions, but then they do this. And I just kind of repeat the same thing 3 times over, but it's okay. And yeah, that's really all I got. It's definitely frustrating, and who knows, I might love it, but I as of right now, I'm not a huge fan of this, because the more room for error you make, the more intensity there is on the race. The more, for me at least, the more into the race I am. And if there's no room for error, there's no real reason to watch, because Kyle Busch will have a 10-second lead, doesn't have to worry about pitting, and there's no reason to watch the race. So by shortening the race, they're thinking, oh, hey, we'll shorten the race so more people, you don't have to take as long. I mean, I think actually it's going to take the same amount, but I feel like you guys are getting what I'm saying. The third stage isn't going to be as long as it used to be, so it's not going to be this long grind. But they're doing quite the opposite. By the end of the second pit stop, you pretty much are going to know who's going to win the race. Obviously, there's that fourth stage that I talk about in my career mode, where there's a caution at the end of the race that could always happen. But I mean, this is just taking away from the integrity of the race, and they did that with stage racing. They knew that, but they went deeper. I was like I said earlier, I was completely fine with the stage racing the way it was. I had zero problem with it. I don't think there were many people that were against stage racing. They're all against playoffs, which I don't hate. But they weren't really hating the stage racing. Maybe they would have liked the stages to be, I don't know if there's really any other way you can really move the stages, and they would have liked it, but at least that was something that they could point to as stability. And NASCAR just took that away, and that is frustrating to me, and frustrating to a lot of fans. And I can try to be optimistic about this, but I think we gotta stop it somewhere. There cannot be any more changes. They add a fourth stage, I don't know if I can watch NASCAR anymore, because that's just ridiculous. It's not a basketball game. It's not a football game. There aren't 4 quarters in NASCAR. The stages, they do add to the entertainment factor. They worked fine just as they were. But now I think NASCAR is starting to go down a path that is going to take it too far. So somebody needs to stop them from going down that path, and we need to go back to the correct path, go back on course. And yeah, I'm kind of rambling now, so I'm just going to end it off. Anyways, thank you guys for watching the first episode of the Left Turn Report. If you guys think that's a little too corny, let me know and I'll change the name. But yeah, that's all I got. Make sure you hit the subscribe button, comment down below you guys' thoughts. I want to hear what you guys think of the new stages and the Hall of Fame and everything else mentioned in this video, but specifically the stages, because I just want to make sure I'm not the only one that agrees that NASCAR didn't need to make this change. The stages were just fine as they were, and that they're kind of taking away from aspects of the race, even more so than they were already. So just make sure, please comment down below your thoughts on the new stages, and that's all I got. So I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.